This is TechCrunch. The Mac Mini will be the next Apple device to say goodbye to USB-A, according to Bloomberg's Mark Gurman. Apple customers have probably gotten used to seeing the familiar rectangular USB-A ports replaced with their thinner USB-C siblings. And while USB-C has its advantages, the transition can sometimes leave users confused and scrambling for adapters. The Mac Mini, meanwhile, hasn't been significantly redesigned since 2010, but Gurman says that's changing this fall. The updated models will include Apple's new M4 chip, as well as 5 USB-C ports, plus an Ethernet port, an HDMI connector, and a headphone jack. But the USB-A ports will be gone. Apple has a Glow Time press event scheduled for September 9th, where the company is expected to announce the new iPhone 16. The new Mac lineup may not be announced until later in the fall. TikTok is introducing a new Managed Topics feature that will give you more control over what you see on your For You feed, the company announced on Friday. The new feature is rolling out to users in the U.S. With the new tool, you can tailor your For You feed to show you more or less of certain topics. You can access the feature by going into your settings, selecting Content Preferences, and then clicking the Manage Topics option. From there, you can customize your preferences for different topics such as sports, travel, humor, current affairs, dance, and food. You can do so by moving the slider to adjust how much you do or don't want to see that sort of content in your For You feed. If you are uncertain about which type of videos fall under a category, you can click the Information button next to a topic. For instance, TikTok says the creative arts topic includes painting, drawing, graphic design, and art-related tutorials. TikTok says these selections will help the app either show more or less of a topic in your For You feed. Of course, this doesn't impact the content you see from accounts you follow. The company notes that it may take some time for the app to personalize your feed based on your selections, so don't expect the customization to be applied instantly. Although TikTok introduced a feature last year that allowed you to refresh your For You feed to retrain the app's algorithm about the content you enjoy, this new feature lets you take a more focused approach to customizing what you see on the platform instead of just starting over fresh. And while you can individually hold down on a video to click the Not Interested button to signal to the algorithm that you don't want to see a certain type of video, you can now go directly into your settings and tell the app you don't want to see that sort of content on your For You feed. It's worth noting that although you can already select keywords and hashtags to filter out content from your For You feed, this new feature gets rid of having to manually enter a bunch of things you don't want to see. A Brazilian court's decision to ban X, formerly Twitter, seems to be benefiting its rivals, especially Bluesky. The microblogging platform announced late Friday that it was seeing all-time highs for activity, with 500,000 new users joining in the previous 2 days. It's also number 1 on the free iPhone app chart in Brazil today, ranking just ahead of Meta's Threads at number 2. Noting the rankings, Bluesky CEO Jay Graber wrote, "Good job, Brazil. You made the right choice." That growth is particularly impressive for a platform that only fully opened to the public in February and winkingly acknowledged its small size, especially compared to rivals X and Threads, by describing itself as the short king of social apps. The company says it had more than 6 million users as of May 2024. Bluesky was first announced in 2019 as a Twitter-backed initiative to build an open, decentralized social protocol. It has since become an independent public benefit corporation, with Twitter founder Jack Dorsey leaving the board earlier this year. Elon Musk's X, meanwhile, has been engaged in an escalating legal fight with Brazil's Supreme Court Justice Alexandre de Moraes over the company's refusal to block certain accounts as part of a broader crackdown on what Moraes said is election disinformation. X said earlier this month that it would shut down operations in Brazil, with Moraes then warning the company that it would be banned if it did not name a legal representative in the country. He followed through on Friday and also threatened fines against users who try to circumvent the ban by using a VPN. As the ban approached, Brazil's president Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva seemingly bid farewell to his ex-followers by linking to his other social media accounts, starting with Bluesky. In the latest twist in Bolt's aggressive fundraising efforts, the fintech company's CEO appears to have made a veiled threat of legal action against Silver Bear Capital, the investment bank whose involvement in the deal remains in some dispute. We believe there was some internal miscommunication at Silver Bear Capital, one of our lead investors, which has caused unnecessary confusion, CEO Justin Grooms wrote in an email reportedly viewed by Forbes. The fact is, they signed a binding term sheet committing $200 million. Our exceptional legal team at Gibson, Dunn & Crutcher stands ready to represent the company in seeking to enforce our rights vigorously. Bolt, which offers tools for one-click e-commerce checkout, did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Silver Bear partner Veronica Welch told Forbes that this never had anything to do with any miscommunications and that the deal was never discussed or approved in the company. Earlier this month, a leaked term sheet showed that Bolt was aiming to raise $200 million in equity funding and $250 million in marketing credits at a $14 billion valuation, with an unusual pay-to-play deal structure that would essentially force existing backers to either invest or lose their stakes in the company. While Silver Bear was initially reported to be leading the equity round, the firm's partner, Brad Pamnani, recently told TechCrunch he's actually putting the deal together through a special purpose vehicle, SPV, managed by a private equity fund based in the United Arab Emirates. At the beginning, I used my Silver Bear email to respond to some things, and that caused some confusion, but Silver Bear was never actually looking at this deal, Pamnani said. Meanwhile, the London Fund's CEO confirmed in an interview with TechCrunch that the firm is contributing marketing credits to the deal. However, the London Fund released a statement Friday saying that it has not seen and cannot confirm the validity of any part of a document leaked to the press. We can confirm that there have been discussions between the London Fund and Bolt's management. However, at no point have we stated that a transaction has concluded, the firm said. No matter who powerful generative AI becomes, writer Ted Chiang says it will never create true art. Chiang is one of the most admired science fiction authors writing today, best known for the novella Story of Your Life, which was adapted into the movie Arrival. But he's also published terrific pieces for The New Yorker looking at the dangers and shortcomings of AI. You should really read his latest article in its entirety, which is available via a link embedded in the text version of this article. But briefly, Chiang argues that the potential of large language models remains largely theoretical. Thus far, generative AI has been most successful at lowering our expectations both of the things we read and of ourselves when we write anything for others to read. It is a fundamentally dehumanizing technology because it treats us as less than what we are, creators and apprehenders of meaning. Even as LLMs improve, Chiang argues that their output will never be art, which he acknowledges is notoriously hard to define, but he tries anyway. Art is something that results from making a lot of choices. Sure, those choices might not result in a particularly good novel or painting or film, but you're still engaged in an act of communication between you and your audience. We are all products of what has come before us, but it's by living our lives in interaction with others that we bring meaning into the world, Chiang concludes. That is something that an autocomplete algorithm can never do. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. That's all for now. For more stories like this one, visit TechCrunch.com.